This is part 1 of Never Clean a House Alone. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss part 2. Here we go. I was born and raised in New Zealand, then moved to Australia, far north Queensland, in a small country town pretty much in the middle of nowhere. I had been living here for almost 8 years now. I never really talk about these experiences because it still freaks me out. My sister-in-law was renting a house down the road from me. She told me that my nieces, nephews, and her had been getting tormented from something demonic. This was happening for a while, so her automatic reaction was to leave as soon as possible. I drive over with my sister in my truck to help her move her essentials. My partner stayed with our son. He tells me casually to take the Bible. Keep in mind that I was skeptical and I didn't know what to expect, but still curiosity got the better of me. Off I went because my sister and I thought it was probably some person pulling a prank or something. I pulled up to the house. We all of a sudden got scared to get out and help. We hopped out of the car and just stood across the road by the only street light that was on down that street. My other sister-in-law yells out angrily, "Don't come any closer, this thing is running around being cheeky." She just looked so angry and provoked by whatever it was. My sister and I started to panic because we still didn't know what was happening. My sister about an arm's length away from me to watch my back. I did the same for her. A split second later, my sister starts yelling at me for supposedly yanking her arm. I yelled back, "I swear to God, it wasn't me." Then in a matter of seconds, both of our buns on our head started going up on its own, along with the rest of our hair at the same time. I see a tall, black shadow run past my sister. You can imagine what was going on in my head. We started to panic because the chills went from down our spine to all over our body. It felt like something was on me. Then we immediately grabbed the Bible we brought. We started reading the protection prayer. Whatever it was took off to the back of the sister-in-law's house. My sister and I drove straight back home scared, confused, and still curious. Little did we know that was only the beginning. So we found out the house my sister-in-law was renting was built in the 1960s, owned by an Italian family. This family had been doing a lot of witchcraft and sacrifices. God knows what else they did on that property. When my sister-in-law moved in, she was told by the landlord that the storage room downstairs was to remain locked. No one was allowed in there. No one at the time ever really questioned it. Now that alone sounds dodgy to me. The house got blessed from the local pastor. Things were still happening around the house, even during the day too. It has been a week since my first incident. My sister, my partner, and I drove over to the house at about lunchtime. We were going to help my in-laws get rid of all their trash. We were going to take it to the dump. It was a sunny day. Definitely a good day for cleaning. When we got there, a lady from the church happened to be there. The other in-laws, members of the local church, were there as well. I ended up telling the lady from the church that it could have something to do with the room downstairs. This was the only room not cleansed. Straight away, my sister said to me that something doesn't feel right. We both felt sick to our stomachs, like we knew something big was about to happen. The lady stood up straight away and said, "Pass me the key. We need to get into that room to bless it right now." We all go downstairs, outside straight to the forbidden room. My nieces, nephews, and I stood back by the trampoline. They were crying their eyes out, so I held them close. I tried my best to comfort them. My sister-in-law puts the key in the door, but the door still wouldn't open. She put her hands on the door and started praying. Immediately, the door started shaking. My heart was pounding so fast. I still didn't know what was happening. Even though it was all happening right in front of my eyes, a part of me was still curious. I don't know why I stayed. My partner then starts kicking the door. It wouldn't budge. The door's thin and really old. It should have opened in the first kick. It was like something on the other side holding it shut. He then stood back. He went in one last time with a big kick, and the door flew open. I grabbed the kids and told them to look away. My sister-in-law, her husband, and the lady from the church dropped to the ground. They all started praying in tongues. My sister and I turned away. We then looked over at my other sister-in-law. She was only 15 at the time. She looked up and had a scared look on her face. Her hand was over her mouth. She ran straight for the laundry room door, screaming. A split second later, I felt a big gush of wind run past me. Before I could look back at my sister-in-law, the entity had already jumped into her. Make sure to click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Part 2 will be linked in the description below.